Alright, a lot of people have asked me, people who've seen this terrarium, how I got moss to actually grow like this. And that's due to two reasons, right? Number one is use tropical mosses. Do not use temperate mosses. All that stuff that you see on Etsy, they sell it like, oh, like 1 gallon bag of sheet moss or quart bag of moss sampler, freshly harvested. Don't buy that. One, because you could introduce unwanted pests into your terrarium. Even if you do clean it, it does not clean out microorganisms. And two, it's gonna die because simply it needs a dormancy period if it's temperate. So because they don't get that dormancy period, they die and they just don't come back, and you end up having a terrarium full of dead moss. And a lot of people think that that's because they don't know how to grow it. The really big secret is tropical moss. And the second big secret is literally use distilled water. Tap water, a lot of times when it comes from the city, it can contain really bad chemicals in the water. On top of that, with the chlorine, even when it's treated, I've noticed that it does not grow this moss well at all. So this is my carnivorous sundew, pygmy sundew terrarium. It's about 3 months old. I've had everything in here growing for about 3 months. You can see I have Drosera rosiana right there. I don't know what this big one is up here. It's actually a hitchhiker. And I also do happen to have, if I can get it to focus, I also have some utricularia up here too. You can see some of it right there. But I do have some utricularia, and you can see it kind of cascading down this little side right here into this spot of liverwort. But those are the really big secrets about growing moss in a terrarium: is use tropical moss and use distilled water. Tropical moss is a lot harder to find than just regular moss. I couldn't find it for a while until I found the seller that sells it. Literally, if you go on Etsy, you can probably find it. A lot of people are starting to sell tropical moss. I got this moss from Glassbox Tropicals. But if you go on eBay and go on Etsy and you see bulk moss for like $10, like a quart bag, don't buy that. It's gonna die. And on top of that, you don't want to introduce unwanted pests and microorganisms into your terrarium. This is all pure. This is the Natura Bioasis terrarium. So everything in here is pretty pure. What I used for substrate was I just used shaved sphagnum moss. Like, it's really fine ground up sphagnum moss, and then I just kind of peeled the moss off of the soil that it was growing on, and I planted it in there. My hardscape is just elephant stone, simple, and I use distilled water. It's pretty simple as that. But that's all I really have for this video, so if you liked it, go ahead and like it. But those are my tips for growing moss in a terrarium.